And we are back for preseason week 2. We got a Thursday night football shut-on slate here with Philadelphia and New England. Welcome, guys. My name is DK. Again, we'll be breaking down the Thursday NFL shut-on slate in this video. I also cover content for Prize Picks, Underdog. Underdog, they're the sponsor of this video. You can use the code DKDFS or the link down below for a $250 deposit match bonus. But having a lot of success on both Underdog and Prize Picks for NFL preseason. Again, they're offering a ton of props, so I would highly recommend it. And if you guys do click that link or use the code and deposit, it does really help support the channel, so greatly appreciate that. If you're looking for more content, as always, you can check out my Patreon linked in the description. All right, so let's recap everything here from the last few days, and just truly, honestly, an unforgettable weekend. Maybe the best 2-day stretch I've ever had for props. Insane for DFS as well. So let's go over DFS first. So this is just a quick kind of review of what happened over the last few days here for DFS. Just insane stuff. Came in third on Saturday. So this is my lineup. I went with Howell, Helani, Bucky Irving, Perry, Austin, Bell, Eric All, Mims, and Seahawks. Now, had I eaten the chalk at tight end with Tanner Hudson, I would have gotten second place in this tournament. Don't really regret it. I thought Eric All was a fine pivot, the rookie tight end, decent pass catcher. Yeah, I mean, I talked about this too. You don't really have to worry too much about stacking in preseason DFS. I played Sam Howell naked. Now, it doesn't mean you can't stack, but it's not like I had to go out of my way to double stack a quarterback in preseason DFS. I really wanted to play at least 2 Saints receivers just because I knew how shorthanded they were. I thought Helani was going a bit overlooked, so took a shot on him as a return option. That worked out. He also got stuffed on the goal line. But yeah, played a lot of Saints in this lineup because of how shorthanded they were. And then I was a little bit surprised that the Seahawks were so low owned. So they came through in a big way. And then on Sunday it was looking great. Still cash everything, but just hit the money line in high stakes, which was a little bit annoying. Couple things to tilt about. So you guys saw on the Friday slate, or was it Thursday slate? I forget. I played John Reese Plumlee, right? And he did not play any snaps at quarterback, which is just wild, man. He only returned kicks. And then on Sunday, I played Ronnie Rivers, who was just a healthy scratch DNP. The Rams only had 3 running backs. We got confirmation that Blake Corum was not in uniform. So the Rams running backs were very, very safe plays, but they only played 2. They played Evans and Dusty Boston Scott. So it looks like Ronnie Rivers too good to play in that game, but yeah, still cashed. That touchdown at the end pushed me down a lot, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, so that was recap of DFS, extremely profitable. And then we'll go over this when we talk about the slate here in a second. I put out all this data for free for you guys on Twitter. Snap percentage, routes, targets, carries, all that stuff for everyone on the show. So make sure to check that out. These take a lot. It takes a lot of work, manual work on my end. So if you guys do enjoy this stuff, make sure to engage with it on Twitter. We greatly appreciate that. But props, as I said, just insane stuff. Insane. Over 70 units this weekend, 140% ROI. Yeah, so here's some of the stuff on Saturday. I posted, I think, probably 30 props. We hit over 90% of our props, multiple 10x slips, multiple 6x slips on Underdog. So basically just all unders, right? Here's one of the slips. Again, Washington was very deep at every position. And then a couple DNPs in there, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, a lot of Washington unders, a lot of Chicago unders. They were very deep. And then this is a few of the Underdog slips. This is a 5-pick slip, but only 4 counted because Amari Cooper was a DNP. A lot of these numbers are way too high. I was shocked that the Demetric Felton line, AJ Dillon, almost 40 rush plus receiving yards, way too high. I had to sweat out the Sincere McCormick one at the very end there because Jaron Hall just could not move the ball. That was tilting me so much. The game just would not end. And then, yeah, obviously took the under on Mahomes. We know that Andy Reid has been, lying about that every single year about him playing a first quarter, and he plays one drive. Saw some fish that didn't, you're not familiar with preseason, take his over, believing Andy Reid. No, that was a good laugh there on Twitter. But yeah, absolutely insane day. About just on Saturday alone, about $5,000 in profit with DFS and with prop. So it's been an incredible week 1 of the preseason. Let's see if we can keep it going for this shut-on slate. Okay, so let's start off with Philadelphia. So the starters, they said that they were going to play a drive. They didn't end up playing a drive. Here, let me filter this. Probably easier to filter by position. Yeah, let's filter by position. Okay. So let's go over snap counts here for Philadelphia. All right, so let's quickly take a look at the quarterback position. So you basically saw Tanner McKee and Kenny Pickett split the work there at quarterback. You did not see any Will Grier. He was available but did not play. And then at the running back position, let me scroll back to the beginning. So you saw 5 running backs play for Philadelphia. It was relatively spread out. Shipley, I believe, had the best, like the most productive day, but everyone was kind of hovering around 20% of the snaps. Gainwell played the least at 13%, then got pulled. He was the first running back in, but carries are relatively spread out. Routes are relatively spread out. So they did spread out the running back snaps. Not really the same, though, for wide receiver. So we saw, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide receivers play for Philadelphia. A few played a majority of the game, or about half the game, I should say. So Britton Covey, I played him. That was on Friday's slate or Thursday's slate, I forget. But he had a nice day. Played in the slot, played about half the game, ran 23 routes. John Ross surprisingly played a lot because he's a little bit banged up. He played about half the game. And Johnny Wilson, the rookie, played about half the game. He ran the most routes, 25 routes. Nagata, second-year guy, played 43% of the snaps, not bad. Jacob Harris, 37% of the snaps. The rookie, Alinus Smith, only 28%. And then Austin Watkins, only 11% of the snaps. And then at the tight end position for Philadelphia, you did see Albert O play the most. He played 27% of the snaps and ran 17 routes. Now, he was a little bit banged up in practice, so we'll see if he'll be able to give it a go. EJ Jenkins played 40% of the snaps and ran 14 routes. So those are kind of your main pass catchers there for Philly. They had a lot of guys play tight end, but those are the 2 guys running the most routes. Okay, now as far as playing time goes here for Philadelphia, so I think it'll look similar. We haven't got confirmation on that because I'm making this video on Tuesday. But I think it'll look similar. Maybe the starters do get 1 drive, but wouldn't expect much of the starters to play a lot. And as always, the show on slates, right? The defenses are very safe, right? Because they're going to be out there a ton. And then kickers. So a lot of the teams will carry 2 kickers in preseason. Philadelphia only has 1, so Jake Elliott's a pretty safe play. But yeah, the quarterback position, again, I'm mainly looking to Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee, right? I expect these guys to play a good chunk of the game. Pickett was solid, 14 of 22. And then Tanner McKee also will kind of split the duties there at quarterback. So I think both those guys are solid options. Again, we'll get playing time confirmation most likely closer to Thursday, but those would be the 2 quarterbacks I'm really looking to. At the running back position, we said how they kind of spread it out. Again, I'm not expecting Saquon to play much, if at all. I think Kenny Gainwell will kind of be similar, maybe get 1 drive or so. And then I expect a lot of those last 4 guys, Shipley, TDP, Milton, and Lou Nichols. Again, all look pretty similar. Shipley had a pretty good game for the amount of touches that he got, right? 7 carries, 23 yards, 1 catch for a touchdown. So not bad there for Will Shipley, but yeah, relatively spread out there at the running back position. So let's talk about tight end. Again, Albert O, like I said, a little bit banged up. We'll keep an eye on that. If he does not play, I think the rookie EJ Jenkins would look a little bit better. So definitely monitor that one because Jenkins, again, if we could look back at the amount of snaps that he played last game, 40% of the snaps and 14 routes, those might go up a little bit if Albert O is out. So yeah, if I'm going to play a tight end in Philly, it probably would be EJ Jenkins. And then looking at the wide receivers, so again, I'm not expecting much, if at all, of AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. Paris Campbell has been banged up. So I think it'll be looking to guys that played a lot last week, right? So the rookie and Johnny Wilson, big body guy. John Ross, kind of a speedster. You got Covey playing a lot in the slot. Nagata played about half the game. Those would be the 4 main ones. Other guys that saw decent work. Again, if you take a look at the data that I posted here, Harris 37% snaps, Alinus Smith 28%. Those guys would be playable as well, but mainly would be looking to the guys that get the most, had the most opportunities last game. All right, so let's move on to New England. Okay, so New England, we saw starters play basically 1 drive, right? And then I was shocked at the amount of snaps that Drake May got. He barely played as well. That was a little bit tilting for me because I had his over passing yards. I thought he was going to play like a quarter and a half. Was definitely wrong on that one. So that was a little bit annoying, but yeah. So right now, again, defense, as we said with the Eagles, right? They're out there they're out there the entire game. So very safe play. Now the Patriots do have 2 kickers. So for me, I'm probably going to stay away from Sly and Ryland. If we're going to play a kicker, I would just go to the Philadelphia side and play Jake Elliott, right? At the quarterback position, so again, 4 quarterbacks played, but you barely saw much of Brissett in May. Now, we'll keep an eye on the news. Maybe those guys do play a little bit more, but it was Zappy and it was Milton that played a lot. So we can take a look. Let's go over the data here for New England, and then we can kind of get into the player-by-player breakdown. So, again, Drake May, only 9% snaps. Jacoby Brissett, only 6%. Bailey Zappy played over half the game, 55% of the snaps. Joe Milton, 30%. So usually kind of what we see in these joint practices is the guys that play the most in the joint practices usually play the least in the games. Yeah, Bailey Zappy really hasn't been playing a ton in the joint practices. So he's probably the guy that you can expect the most run from, I will say, for New England. So again, it's Zappy and it's Milton. Now I do have interest in Milton because of how mobile he is. He looked pretty good out there too. So I think those would be your 2 safest plays there for New England based on what we saw last game. Again, we'll monitor the news and stuff can change, right? I'll update everything over on Patreon, posting all the news of the beat writers and stuff. But yeah, so for New England, we saw 5 running backs play. Now, Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson did not get a ton of work, as we kind of expected. It was more of the back end guys. Kevin Harris played the most. He played 33% of the snaps. Did run 12 routes as well. Terrell Jennings played 23% of the snaps. He played kind of the end of the game. And then Jermichael Hasty, 26% of the snaps. We'll take a look at the wide receiver position for the Patriots. So we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys play. But they play the young guys a lot, right? Second-year guy, Keyshawn Butte, played 47% of snaps, 21 routes, 6 targets. And the 2 rookies played a lot too. Javon Baker, 58% of the snaps, 24 routes. Jalen Polk, 48% of the snaps, 21 routes. Outside of that, it was relatively spread out. Juju Smith-Schuster got cut, so we don't have to worry about him. The guy that played the next most was David Wellis, 29% of the snaps. And then one thing that did kind of surprise me here was the amount of snaps that Mitchell Wilcox played and the amount of routes that he ran too. He's known as more of a blocker, but he ran a lot of routes last game. So Patriots ran 5 tight ends. Again, you only saw a few snaps there for Austin Hooper. But Mitchell Wilcox, which is a known blocking tight end, played 48% of the snaps and ran 20 routes. That was just mind-boggling to see. The rookie Jaheim Bell, 36% of the snaps, only 11 routes. So that is something to note there for Mitchell Wilcox. I was just surprised how many routes that he ran. Okay. So, and one other thing to note, too, for the Patriots, I don't think they have him in the player pool. They don't, but they signed another back-end running back there in Fenwick. So that is something to know. They technically have 6 running backs available. But yeah, I don't think we'll see a ton of Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson. I think it'll mainly be those back-end guys, Kevin Harris, Hasty, and Jennings. I think Harris is your safest based on what we saw playing time last week. And then Hasty Jennings right behind him. At the tight end position, I think it'll be mainly looking to two guys, right? It'll be Mitchell Wilcox, who surprisingly ran a lot of routes last game, and then the rookie in Jaheim Bell. And then at the wide receiver position, so we're not expecting to see Bourne or Douglas. KJ Osborne only played a few snaps. Tyquan Thornton also started, only played a few snaps. So I think it's mainly the guys that played a lot last week, right? The 2 rookies in Polk and Baker, I think both really good options. And second-year guy, Keyshawn Butte. Outside of that, it was kind of just like spread out, right? Like no one else really saw a ton of run at wide receiver besides those 3 guys. Again, Wallace played 29% of the snaps, but everyone else is sub 20%. Jackson 17%, Baker 17%. Again, Juju got cut 17%. Rager only played 15% of the snaps. So mainly be looking to those wide receivers there for New England. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap up the video. Again, I have a lot more in-depth content posted over on Patreon. So if you guys are interested in that, again, link will be in the description. A lot of props as well. Insane week 1s. Hopefully we can keep that going for week 2. But as always, if you do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And we'll see you guys all in the next video.